Okay, let's get started with Druid. The first, oh wow, I got another West End game there. A recent pickup. I don't have many of their games. There's a few that I want to pick up, definitely. So, the first and maybe most important thing is to draw chips. And we'll draw for the tribes first. And they get the red side. And they get a 0 plus Boudica's 1. They're going to only have 1 activation point. I'm going to mark that by putting it here. Theoretically, if I was playing 2-player, I would hide that behind a cup or a screen or something, and keep a note of a running total of how many I spent. And now and that's a terrible way to start. I think I get 2 extra on the first turn. I'll have to look that up. Well, the Romans didn't do any better. They have precisely 0. I think there's a 2 extra on the first turn and 1 extra on the second turn. So I'm going to have 3. Now those numbers go up to like 9. So how extensive that first turn is going to be, how impressive it's going to be, is, you know, a big matter of luck. And that can be a huge factor in this game, because the Britons have to do a lot before the Romans come and crush them. So after that, Roman supply, all the Romans are in forts, so the supply gets boosted by some points if they wish. They don't have the capability to do so though, because this is off map. Civilian movement. I've got some restrictions to what I can move my civilians. I gotta be within 6 Briton movement points of a hex to have a chance of moving. Now here's the thing. I probably want to get out of Londinium. If I don't get out of there, I'm worth more points at the end. But I think I want to try to get out of there if I can. So let's see. Am I within 6 movement points? Probably. There's a road there, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4. How much are clear? Clear are going to be 1 each. So, yeah, I'm within 6. So I have a chance of moving, and I need dice. And we're going to have one of those horrible messes. I just know it. Oh, wow, there are some of my dice from the last horrible mess. Okay, let's grab these for now. I'll figure something better out in a moment. And what do I need? I need a 1 through 4. And I don't get it, so I can't move them. I don't really want to move any of my others. These guys might be a good idea to try to move. On a 1 or a 2 to get them out of there. Yeah, let's give them a shot. Nope. Everyone else I'll leave where they are. I don't think those are just military camps. Yeah, I'm okay. So now we go to the Druid invocation. And when do I do diplomacy stuff? I think I do it during operations. Okay. So the problem with Druid invocation is I don't have a lot of points. So I am not going to do either of the invocations that I can. And that means I'm going to be sitting over here on the Druids. And they got 3 points. They can do what they like with them. The Romans aren't going to have any points, but I don't know that as the Druids. I'm going to take a little break while I think a little. Well, I don't have a lot of points, but I think my most important things are to start amassing forces. That's the hard part. So I'm going to look at the tribal revolt table. I got 2 places that I can try. I'm going to go with these Druids first. It's funny that the Romans aren't red. They should be red. And the Celts, well, they're sort of like Picts, right? Okay. So we roll over here. I spent a point. to check for the Brigantes. And I get a 4, which means I'm going to get the Brigantes here on my side. And they're a nice big force. That's going to help me. I'll spend my second point over here with Boudica. I think she's actually the more important because I don't want her getting killed. I don't know what tribe I'm looking at there though. Doverumdum. Let's look at the hex number. 1931. Which is not that. It's the Canty. They're not very big. Okay, I got a problem. The Canty just went to the other side. Now, this becomes kind of problematic. I have a little pro-Roman marker I can put with them. And Boudica is allowed to move her full movement point allowance to get away from them. Well, I'd like to get to another tribe, I think. Let's look at the cost. How much do woods cost me? Forests cost me 2 each. I've got 15 movement points. Those big roads probably cost me 1. Same as clear does. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. She's hidden now, which means theoretically the Romans don't know where she is. Now, if I was playing this not solitaire, I would have this marker somewhere in the woods and have her tracked. But I'm going to just use this to help remind me I can't see that, but I know that there's something in there. Okay, I have one more point. Damned if I know what I want to do with 1 point here. Well, I'm going to pass because I made my 2 attempts to get troops. I don't think. Well, see, the Romans can't come in there without causing a problem, I think. Not sure. And I'm assuming she's retreated and can't move again for the turn. So I can't just go into there. I could move this Druid's force. Now, the last thing I want to do is worry about... I haven't made this decision yet. The last thing I want to... Because the Brigantes have been freed. Therefore, I don't really want them to be my reserve. I don't really have to worry about the Romans... what was I going to say? Oh, about the Romans burning one of my villages. Yeah, that's worth points, but they're going to want to destroy my armies, and I'm going to want to destroy theirs. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set out... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass. I'm going to say my activation's over. And the Romans say they pass. And I'm like, well, okay. Now I have the choice of either passing and ending the turn or moving. And the question is, do I want to grab some quick points somewhere? Or do I want to not put these... Yeah, they're there. There's Druid 1. The Iceni. Do I want to do something kind of more impressive at this point? Because I can kind of ravage these areas and then fall back on my Iceni when the Romans come. Or... I can try to do other stuff. I've got to think a little bit more about this last point, because if I can get some points by burning something, this is the time to do it. I was inexplicably clever here. These guys have 28 strength points, which is 7 times the 4 that I put in this space. I can't just overrun them and keep moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to move 1, 2. Now here's the thing. Those Romans, they're not worth many points. So they're going to try to intercept me, largely just to stop me. They didn't have to take as direct a route as I did. Find the interception rolls. Okay, we have some modifiers to all this. There it is. Okay, so I'm 1 hex distant. I'm in a military post. I'm just Roman infantry. So it's going to be no cav. So I need a 1 through 4 to hit. And I do not. So these went 2. 3, I'll go out here. I'm moving away so I can't be intercepted. If I had stayed at the same distance, I could be. 4, okay, I can be intercepted there though, because I'm at the same distance. Which means the Romans are now 2 hexes distant, and they're only going to hit me on a 1. They don't get it. 5th movement, I go in here to Londinium. Alright. Now, I believe I can kill those civilians automatically. I don't think there's any defenses for Londinium. So I've got 2 dead civilians, if I'm correct, which are going to... Gotta find the victory points. Yeah. There they are. I eliminated 2 civilians. Those are going to be worth 2 points to me. And I can't attack Londinium until the beginning of my turn. And that is actually my 3rd activation. And at this point, we're both going to pass. Very, very weak first turn. Usually you see a lot more happening just from the draws. Which means... no, the tribal revolts should have happened later. Okay, that didn't have an effect really. Which means we show our chits for the turn. Which are these 2. They get thrown back in the cup, and the game turn marker moves forward. So these guys should not have been activated during the operations phase. I thought they were activated during the operations phase. If we were playing with the spontaneous revolts, and I don't want to play with them, I don't think they're particularly historically accurate. Although they do add some excitement to a game in which there's, there's already a lot of variance in terms of, gee, what did I draw as a chit or whatever. So how reasonable is it that tribes might revolt just anywhere? I don't know. Let's do it. I like random tables. And I don't think they're that terribly ahistorical either. So what we do for spontaneous revolt is we grab 2 dice, and I have to roll a 1 or a 2 on the first die, which will be the red one. I'm sorry. What do I have to roll? I have to roll a 1 or a 2 on the second die roll, which is the white one. And I do not, so we don't have one. If I get 2 of them, the reserve roll goes away. If I get 2 spontaneous revolts, which is fine. And we move on to another turn. And we spent a lot of time on this for no good reason, but whatever. First off, I'm not drinking diarrhea here. This is chocolate, vanilla syrup, and vodka. I'm out of milk. First, for the tribals. I get 2, I got +1 for second turn, and I still got Boudica, so that puts me up to 4 actions. And I'll put that here. And then for the Romans, they have 3, which is pretty good. Alright, now given that, what do we got? Roman supply is fine. Civilian movement. Well, I lost my civilians who are close. I don't see any others I really want to get moving, so I'll pass on that. Druid Invocation. I don't have a lot of points again. I don't really see a point. You know, you want to try to get them, the troops, to be berserk, maybe before a battle. What about the other one? The other one's kind of interesting. I could get additional ops points. And otherwise, they look pretty iffy to me. I'm kind of scared of doing that. It's like add more randomness at a point when I'm in good shape, or at least not in bad shape. And not in as good as I might hope with these guys going pro-Roman. But that's going to open up my Boudica forces. And unfortunately, I haven't gotten myself set up anywhere. I'd like to pillage this, though. And I think that's just going to be my action. I'm going to blow one action on pillaging that. And I'll grab one of these. And now, you know, as the game goes on, and you need disruption and other counters, you're going to have more and more of these pillage counters on the board. That just got me some points. If I can find the victory points. They're hiding over here. I sacked Camelundum or Londinium. That cost me, or that gives me 6 victory points. What do I need to win? It's not like that's really an issue right now. I need more than the Romans have, whatever that ends up being. Okay. And then I'm going to allow, I think, the Romans to go. Because I just don't see myself. The only other option might be try to kill off some of these auxiliaries early. But I don't think I want to do that. So I think I'm going to hand the action over to the Romans, and I got to consider that. Okay, so I've got trouble thinking here with the Romans. I don't necessarily want to use my activations all at once. My feeling is you want to kind of hoard them. You use one, and if your opponent passes, you figure he's out of points. Because he's not going to risk you being out or you deciding, hey, that's all I want to do. Now, the Romans could pass in the hopes that, you know, you don't want to hand the opportunity to the opponent, so I guess not. But the hard part here is my choice of legions to activate. I'm going to get Paulinus, and I can bring him in for free. He doesn't cost operations points to activate on the first turn that he comes in. Otherwise, I could activate some of my auxiliaries and bring them in. That doesn't seem terribly wise, although the Britons are all scattered all over the place still. I could try to bring the 20th Legion from off map. Now, there's a fair amount of that over there, and if I activate that and move it forward, I can activate the rest of the 20th Legion, gather it together, and have a pretty potent group. The 14th. Okay. 14th is really tough to bring in. I can activate the 9th and send it up to deal with the Brigantes, which might be my best move at this time. But there's not a lot of value up near the Brigantes, so that's kind of I don't know. The 20th, like I said, that's going to take 2 activations to bring in. The second's a lot easier to bring in. It's an auto activation, but the problem with the second is I have to garrison here and here, or else the Silurians are going to come in. And I don't want to bring another big state in, especially when I've got a limit to how many units I can activate and use anyhow. Well, I think I'm just going to go with my besotted gut here. And I'm going to activate the 9th. I only get it on a 4 through 6. And see about going after the Brigantes. Okay, so I spend an activation and I get nowhere. And I'm going to pass here because I'm not in a real hurry to move any of my auxiliaries or anything around. Let them die if they have to. They are worth points, I think. Presumably, if enough of them die. But they're not something that I think is, worth trying to protect terribly well. So I'll let the Britons go. Jeez, I don't know. Let's get the Brigantes moving. All right. So now the Brigantes have, it looks like 6 movement points. The Cav has 12. But how's that river going to affect me? The river is going to cost me a whole bunch to cross. And I can't build bridges, so I'll probably try cutting down across here. I'm going to drop off the army. That was 6. And I've got some more movement. Leader crossing a river costs 5 extra. 7, 12, 13. And I'm going to tilt these guys to indicate that I've moved them. Because the little moved markers, I think, are for something else. And I'll let the Romans take another pick. For the Romans, I'm going to try, where are my garrisons necessary? I want to make sure that I don't need to keep one in Verconium. Because I just can't remember. Lindum, Glevum, and Verconium. Okay, so either of these two is good, but I have to keep both occupied to some extent. It's not these two. Oh, do I want to just move the second? And it was pointed out to me, and I don't know the history well enough, that the second actually didn't do much. It let the 9th charge down and get decimated. And that looks like it may be a weakness unless you want to get the 20th moving in terms of what the activation numbers are. The 9th is harder to activate than the 20th. Hey, I've got some errata here. This came with the game. No. I get 12 victory points if I sack both London and Camelondon. Some of this seems to be actually in there. I don't know. 16.1. Ah, you get 6 for each. Okay. Fair enough. Most of the stuff that really was incomprehensible or wrong, I corrected in pencil. Oh. See, I gotta keep... Yeah. I don't know. Alright. I'm gonna spend an activation to try to bring the 20th in, I think. So I think that'll do me the least harm. I can win some fights up here in the north. I kind of like bringing the 2nd in, but the 2nd... Oh, the 2nd has hordes of stuff. Huh. Where do I bring Paulinus? 5701. Way up here. Well, he's not going to be able to help the 2nd. And that's the problem. Problem with the 20th is they'll be coming in with low supply, so they'll drop the supply levels of this guy. All right, let's move the second. Legitimate or not, I just have to leave something to garrison it. I'll leave some auxiliaries. I'm going to spend an activation. And we'll get moving. And we have a movement of 8. That's noted on here. That's the movement that the legions have. These roads cost me 1 each. They can pick things up. Now I could spend another activation to force march the second, but I'm not going to do that. And that was my activation. And I don't think I want to... I think I should put the game turn marker here. What the hell's under here? Okay. I don't think I want to take another action quite away. I can turn these guys to indicate they've moved. They could still force march, which is fine. And now I've got 2 activations. I had better bring the Iceni down before things get out of hand with the second Legion heading here. It's easier to move through the woods. What's that 3? Oh, if I use hidden movement, it's more expensive. Well, I don't want to use hidden movement then. 2, 4, 6. I might as well be out in the open. Do I want to burn that? That's a Roman town. How much are they worth? Seems like a lot of effort to go up there. But it's worth 3 victory points. Yeah, I want to... See, the problem is I'm getting sucked into the trap of I want to win the battle. But I probably can't. That's just the nature of this thing. But okay, I'll keep going as is. We go to the Romans again. We only have 1 point left plus Paulinus. I'm going to spend that point instead of trying to charge the second down further. Now, I got to leave like 20 strength points though, don't I, for my garrison. Jeez. Should have left some troops behind. 20 strength points. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's not going to work. The Silurians are going to come in if I'm not careful. I think the second is going to force march, which means I blow another action. I'm going to bring Paulinus in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know. Maybe. And these guys get to move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As far as here, and I'll scoop these up as well. We'll head on our way to fight. That's going to leave it to our Britons who do not want to spend because they've got to spend one for the activation there. I guess. Okay. We go back to Rome, and Rome is going to pass. And we end up with Tribal Revolt. I get to spend an action point to try to bring whoever that is into this. And this is one of the problems is you start to forget, hey, have I activated those guys or not or whatever. So these guys are in 59-17. Oh, they're big. Okay. And we check them on the Tribal Revolt table straight up. And that's bad. Oh, life is not going well for me here. I get to run away. And we see the problem with West End counters. They're slick counters. The map is luckily not slick. But they fall over very, very easily and turn into a mess. And you have humongous stacking here. So these guys have gone pro-Roman. That's the Paris-C up here. Remember, I still have to pay activations for these. I probably should have considered paying over here. The problem is, of course, I need to have Paulinus to integrate them into my army. But those might be big enough to handle some of the other things that are around. So that's kind of a thought to have in mind. And I think we're done with turn 2, except I have not committed my reserve. So now I got to look up my reserve. I'm not finding it. Okay, I'll be back. I kind of screwed up. That should have been designated at the start of at the end of turn 1, before turn 2. And I'm putting the 20th Legion in reserve. That means I can't call on the 20th. I believe that's allowable. Let's see. I must place 1 Legion in reserve. The reserve marker is designated at the end of the fourth turn. I can't attempt activation until turn 10. I think I could take my off-map 14th Legion for this, even, and say that's in reserve. That might be wiser. So I'll do that. We'll put that there. So I'm not going to be calling on that. Now, to make the historical work, you'd probably be putting the 2nd in reserve, which kind of makes sense for this reason. I got to keep this huge garrison here. This is why I need the 20th. Yeah, it's got to be the 20th. So the choices are really, between the 9th, 20th, and 2nd. And if I had chosen the 2nd, I would have an easier flow of my troops with Paulinus coming down this way. So it kind of makes sense to do that, but the 2nd is very easy to trigger. And I felt like with the weakness that the Britons have, that makes more sense maybe. Well, I forgot to do my activations though. Well, I rolled that one, but I have the possibility of a spontaneous revolt here. So let's give this a shot. Make red the first die roll, and we're not getting anything, so that's fine. And that puts us over to turn 3. The chits are revealed. People check, make sure, hey, are they right? They are. And things look really, really bad for the revolt. Oh boy. Gonna pick my new chits. I've got a problem in my life, in that I have nothing left to clip. I could clip, what did I play recently? Last of the Independence. I could clip the little plastic discs on that. And there are some Euros that I have that don't really need clipping. They have tiny little nibs or something, but I could. Okay, so 4 plus 1 for Boudica puts me to 5. Again, the Romans do not know what I just drew. And 5, I have Paulinus, that puts me to 7. Seeing some reasonable sized numbers at this point, right? Yeah, not necessarily what we want though. Now, what we have to see is, again, at the victory points, and unfortunately they're all tucked in here. So killing pro-Roman tribals is worth something. I don't think we can cut through there very easily. And then we have to kind of look in the terrain effects chart because it's so kind of large numbers, etc. So like a river, tribal infantry is going to pay 5 to cross a river. Well, I can barely get there. And it may have an effect on combat, which I would have to look at this chart. It's all not presented in a it's all presented in a very unhelpful sort of way, even though they gave charts and such not that usually are easy to absorb. They're just not nicely arranged. So I don't know what to do. Let's see. Maybe we want to invoke druids. See, that's what I was looking at. Do I want to invoke this druid to prepare for an attack? And I don't really know. Anyway, the Romans get to check supply. Second is in a town, but it's not a place where he can, it's not a Roman town, so we're going to lose one there for the turn. No one else is out exposed. I get to move my civvies. I'm pretty good with them. And now the druids get to invoke if they wish. And I really don't have any that I particularly want to do anything with, so I'm going to not waste points on that. I should be able to get a shot off with one of these, depending on what the Romans want to do. They could attack one of these villages before it gets raised up, but that just seems stupid to me. How much is Isurium worth? Okay, so we check our victory chart for that, for the Romans. And that's going to be worth 3 points. That's a pretty decent amount of points for the Romans to be able to get without much battle. I could send these pro-Roman forces over for that, but I can probably tie that up. So I'm going to activate this Druid and move him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to hide. I think I'm fine with that. And we turn him. And we don't want to dispatch our cav or anything like that. This is a game where you want your forces gathered together. I'm kind of worried here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, shit. Yeah, let's get them moving too. Let's get out of there. I can still be forced marched on, but I could possibly intercept them. I don't know. I got no way out of there. Let's go to here and depress into hidden mode. I don't know how hidden we really are there. We don't have the movement points to go any further. So the Romans kind of know they're there, but there is a combat bonus for being hidden. I'm not going to be able to walk along the road for that, though. What about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? The hell with being hidden. Let's go to here, or no, here, and we'll move these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't gather them. Shit. I gotta look that up, but I don't believe I can gather them without Boudicca or maybe a Druid. Indeed, I need some sort of leader to gather my tribes now. My Druid probably can't make it in time. I think the woods cost me 2 each, right? Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm not going to make it down in time. So I'm not going to spend the points. I'll pass there. Or I'll pass the turn over to the Romans. What about the Romans? What do we do? We can't quite reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not there. So we could do the forced march, and I should be marking that when I do it. you know what? I'd be safer, instead of moving these 2 movement points, to slip into there with them. And then I could not be attacked because he'd have to leave the road to attack me. So that sounds good. I only have 3 movement points left. There are 3 operations left. Here goes 1, 2, 4, 6. Heading down that way. I let the Romans go again. Wait, the Romans didn't. I'm sorry, I forgot to do the Romans. Okay, so the Romans want to spend 1. I mean, my reserve is over here. Yeah. So I can't use them. 14th comes in where? Let's look in the rules, because it isn't elsewhere. See 12.6. See charts and tables. I looked here. It doesn't tell me where. They come in at 5701. Okay. How is clearing road different? More expensive for Romans. That's a thought. I want to get this legion moving. Lindum, I do not have to have garrisoned while the Brigantes are active. So I'm going to spend an activation to try to move the 9th. And we're on turn 3 now, so it's 3 through 6. And they come. Which means I believe I get to move them right away. Yeah. Of an additional operations point, I got to pay 1. So I actually couldn't move as far as I did with the 2nd. The hell with that. So I move again. 1. Jeez, that river is going to kill me. I can't cross it. It's going to cost me 4 extra for infantry. 1, 2, 6, 7. I don't think the Brigantes want to attack that. They have to think. How big is a legion? A legion is something like 40 strength points. The Brigantes are big. I'm not going to intercept though. I'm going to hope that I can send them berserk, which I can't do at this point. So that's going to put it back over onto the Druid side. And I need to break because my battery's running low. Okay, I have 1 point left for the... I have 2 points left for the tribals. And I'm going to use 1 to move Boudikia out here. And that puts it back to the Romans. And what can they do? I'm not sure what the answer to that is. I haven't moved this. I have a whole bunch of points. I could forced march here and try to attack them. I'm outnumbered. So I don't know how wise that is. This is my reserve. This is turn 3, so I gotta look on this chart, see what I can get on turn 3. Yeah, I don't know. think I'm gonna, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do know that they're there. They could not be anywhere else. Just kind of the problem with the hidden units is, well, I walk away and, you know, I got them in the right hex, so that's fine, but I don't know, just as I wouldn't if I was playing them with real hidden units, whether or not I would know and where they would be because of my breaks. I really don't like these pulsed games, usually when I'm playing solo. A couple of them I've been able to put up with, some of the Victory Games ones, but this one just doesn't do it for me solo. I'm afraid to launch this attack. I'm afraid to do anything. I'm not afraid to launch a cav after Boudica. That gives me a chance to kill her. And that seems a worthwhile task. So I've got 12 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. Romans don't pay 1 for clear, do they? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, that's not going to work. Give me my point back. It's like I can't think of anything because of the complex movement chart that's here. I have no idea. I need to get Paulinus up in charge here so that I can coordinate. Okay. And leaders, do they move? Yeah, at least they get to go 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 1. Doesn't help me to do anything else yet. Yeah, but now I'm within range of his cav. I can't do that either. I mean, it's like I can't do anything. Everything that I think of doesn't work is really the problem. I don't know. I hate this kind of decision making in a game where I just don't know what to do and what not. I cannot force march the Romans off the road, but I could move them closer. Alright, let's just move some stuff. What do these go? These guys go 6. Okay, that's 1. I'll pass the turnover. And the Britons say, no, I'm not going. So I have to take another action. And I'll move Paulinus, I guess, down this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't put him near there. And again, the Britons pass. Paulinus has moved, so I'll turn him this way. How much is a river for the barbarians or the tribals? It's still very, very expensive. I'll move this down. Okay, we can try to intercept there, I think. That's the problem with that. But I'd have to pay an activation point, and I need that activation point down here to move those, so no, I won't. Now what? What do I have left? I have things I can activate that are off board. These guys in reserve means I can't do shit with them. So let's see about getting the 14th on the board. What about that? This is turn 3, 5 or 6. Yay. And I could spend another one to bring them on. Otherwise, they don't actually come on. And I gotta find them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I can start gathering supplies. And that uses up my points, which means I go to Boudica, who can try a revolt, as everybody turns into position, and that's a legion, that's not just Paulinus. And I didn't move my Iceni that I need to get up in place. 5, the revolt fails, nothing happens, but I do get a chance at the spontaneous revolt. 1-4 no. And we push on to turn 4. Alright, well, that's gotten us 3 turns. I'm going to load it up from here. This game is a big headache to me, as might seem obvious, especially playing it on camera, but really in general, the kind of thinking, a lot of the CDGs have this same kind of feel to them. A lot of the pulsed systems, Vietnam has this kind of feel where I'm just like, oh, what the hell am I going to do? And it's all the harder when I've got to do it either with a camera or an opponent. But to tell you the truth, solo isn't a great deal of fun either. Anyway, let's send it off.